You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off our second annual Spring Road Tour as we are visiting some of the best-looking shops across the country. Come along as we give you a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the most successful lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping companies and how they operate their business. This shop tour is brought to you by our great friends at Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. We know that professionals like you trust and rely on the tools and equipment to make their businesses a success, and our partners mean business. Gear up, lock up, lace up, and line up your business for success in 2023 with the gear and equipment from our tour sponsors. We'll be releasing new Shop Tour podcast and YouTube videos every Monday as we take you across the country highlighting these entrepreneurs' businesses and their incredible shop builds. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, super excited about having this upcoming shop tour here that we're going to get into in just a quick second, and that is with Eric Hughes with the EH Group. Eric opened up his doors, he opened up his shop, and rolled out the quote-unquote red carpet, and it was so fun getting to hang out with him down there in Delaware County, Ohio, and see what they got going on. Eric actually has a full-time career as a teacher, has a large growing family, and then he's got a couple of guys working for him as well. And listen, most of this work is done, nights and weekends, doing a couple $100,000 a year in revenue. All of this is after 2-3 p.m., as you guys would imagine, as a school teacher. So it's so cool to see what they put together. And his shop is just an incredible setup, very well organized, but of course, bursting at the seams as well. So I kind of wonder where they're going to go from here long term. So any which way, we're going to jump right on into it here, hear a little bit more from Eric Hughes. Again, big shout out and thank you to the shop tour sponsors, which are Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. Thank you guys so much for using the Brian Sen code with Cujo and Equipment Defender, and considering Yardbook if you guys are looking for a good CRM and any of the Steel product line as you guys go into the spring rush. Maybe you need some new trimmers, blowers, hedge trimmers, and so much more. And without further ado, we're going to kick it right on over to the podcast episode that we were able to do inside of his shop. We were cutting up about a whole bunch of different topics, and it's just so cool to be able to hang out with you guys on the road there as we're on our way to Columbus, Ohio, doing 5 tours over the last 3-day weekend, which was super exciting. So that being said, let's kick it over to the show and let's hear a little bit more from Eric Hughes with the EH Group.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. We're talking shop. We're actually in your shop. Go figure.
I know. It's pretty cool. It's pretty surreal.
This is actually really, really cool. I've seen yours on Instagram and stories and your feed for a couple of years now. And it's cool to see it in person. It's actually like, it's always more impressive in person because it's a pretty cool outfit.
Yeah, I was lucky to get the heat done, and that just makes it really finished and just comfortable and just, did that. I didn't do that when I built it. I wish I had, but I did a year later, and that just really completed the whole thing.
I love it, man. So we're actually all caught up. There's a couple of guys here. There's always the posse that never makes it on the video or on the podcast, but a lot of good dudes hanging here behind the scenes. And we were just talking shop, laughing about a bunch of stuff. But we just got done shooting the YouTube video. And by the way, I think Anders, we were talking, right? He did it in one take, basically? Like one take. Yeah, it was smooth as butter, bro. So if you needed another career, consider YouTube.
Well, hopefully I made good eye contact. I don't know.
No, it was smooth. I don't even know if I have to make an edit or two. So really quick, we're going to talk shop. That's the theme of this podcast and the YouTube video, but we'll get a business update too. I know I've had you on the podcast before, right?
Yes.
It was a couple years ago.
Years ago. Yep.
Yeah. Probably when we first launched, maybe like 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But we'll get a little update because basically everything's changed significantly since then.
Yes, things have changed. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, let's do this. Give us the highlight reel, man. Where are we coming from? Give these guys the stats, if you will, to kind of get them up to speed.
Yeah. So my name's Eric, school teacher and landscaper. Being a school teacher, it's amazing because I get out at 3:00 and I can go mow 14 yards with another guy, or I can send the mowing crew out and then I can go do some landscaping jobs or fertilizing or aerating jobs.
Okay.
And able to run 2 trucks. That's what's changed in the past couple of years. Before I was kind of running 1 truck, maybe here do a second truck. But
okay.
Now the past 2 years been running 2 trucks, and that's just been amazing for just growth in the company and just revenue and just yeah, just working and just making things change.
So when we were talking last, I don't even know if you on the podcast, did you have the shop yet, or was that the last?
I had
few
the
years?
shop. Yeah, no, I had the shop. We've had the shop for like 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, but it probably wasn't as robust and built in like it is
wasn't
today.
finished. Yeah, it didn't have some of the equipment that I have here now, and yeah, so
A lot of growth.
yeah.
So let's take it back a couple years ago. So let's even take it back before that. You're teaching still full time.
Yes.
You have a beautiful family. You got 5 kids?
6 kids.
6 kids.
Yeah.
Anders, how many you got? 4? 4. So 3 over here, or he's got 3 more coming. You got 4. Oh my gosh, this is country living, man. Like, we want to have 4 kids too. You know what I mean? So, okay.
It's in the water.
I was just saying, there's something going on over here. Like, how does that happen again? Aren't you a biology teacher? Do you know how this works? But maybe he doesn't know how this works. He's a science teacher, not a any which way teacher. But any which way, we're talking trash while you're talking. Okay, so let's go. You teach. You have a big family. You got a decent sized company, a couple employees. How are you doing it all? That's like the question I get all the time with like what I do, and I'm like, I don't even have 4 or 5 kids. How do you not get it done is my attitude. Now I need to take notes from you guys. So how are you doing all this, man?
Well, it didn't start, it started a long time ago, and it started with, 10 yards. Then, it's not 80 yards like it is now.
Sure.
So it's just slow and gradual. And then, obviously 2017, like I didn't know a whole lot of business and route density, knowing my numbers, yard booked, CRM, that sort of thing, until you guys and the YouTube community really came together back then. But that's really helped me grow.
Yeah.
Just learning from all those different avenues, and just being super organized, super intentional with the family, with my calendar, really like booking stuff out in advance and not just like, well, what am I doing today?
Right.
Waking up and figuring it out. Like it's already planned out.
Wow.
Like I've got my summer planned out. Like all my mulch jobs are planned out. I got my aerations on the schedule. My mowing nights are all scheduled out.
Is that a personality thing, or is it like a career thing maybe from like the teaching? Because don't you have lessons plans, and you can't just wing it teaching.
Right.
I know people think that teachers don't really have a plan sometimes, but I'm like, no, do they have lessons plans? Like you get graded on that stuff from your peers, right? And your bosses?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it kind of, I don't know. I came from a kid when I took my Matchbox cars. I lined them up, like my favorite car first and my next one. And then whatever, on down the road.
Yeah.
And, my Legos, I never took the Legos apart. I always kept them together.
Okay.
I don't know.
Got the OCD?
Yeah. So maybe that's there.
Today they would diagnose guys like us for that. You know what I mean?
And then maybe it's like the art, because, there's a lot of problem solving in art, and there's a lot of problem solving in business, and so that's helped me to, I think, grow and just be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
So.
No, and it's awesome. It shows. I mean, we're sitting inside the barn. Which, by the way, what's the stats in the barn in the setup?
It's 40 by 50, 40 wide, 50 deep, 12 feet tall at the corners.
Okay. And it's finished on the inside. You got heat going, which is awesome. It's always nice when you go to the shop tours and they got heat. I'll tell you that much, because I've been in some of them and I'm like, it's a little cold, man. Turn that on. And they're like, no, it's not finished. It's not heated or insulated, obviously. And I'm like, oh, okay. Note to self. So when I build my future barn, I'm trying to take notes of what people are doing, what people aren't doing. And it's a good setup.
Yeah, definitely get it finished when you start.
Yes. Yeah, that's the idea, is to do it all at once. It's the old buy once, cry once.
Yeah,
basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this whole setup, which if you guys want to watch the YouTube video on the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel, I invite you guys to do so. We're doing 8 shop tours over the next 8 weeks on Mondays for both the video and the podcast. But as we go through this whole thing, very clean and very organized. Again, like part of the personality type. But would you want to go through a little equipment setup tour and tell everybody what you got going on?
Yeah. So the first bay, the smaller door bay, it's got all the equipment in there. My tools, my workbench is all the way in the back. Blade sharpening center, stuff like that.
Super clean setup.
And then all the Milwaukee tools and workbench and stuff like that. So if I got to change blades or fix a piece of equipment, it's clean. It's I know where everything's at. Or if when my guys come over and they need to find something, things are labeled. They know where to find it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a couple right mowers sitting in the side bay, and cart mates, things like that. And then the middle bay is the main mowing rig, 18-foot trailer and a Toyota Tundra, and 3 right mowers on the trailer, 72, 61, and a 36-inch.
Talk to me about the right mowers for a minute, because it's been a minute since I've got anybody on that runs Right, and great brand. Ed Wright's awesome, dude. I get to talk with Ed a couple of times a year. You've got 1, 2, 3,
got
4, 5. What do they call it? Right orange? You were telling me?
Yeah, right orange.
What is that? What is that? Because they're yellow mowers, bro. Is that
yeah. Some people think they're yellow, but it's called right orange.
Okay.
So.
It's got like a little hint of like an orange like lime peel or something. I don't know.
If you look at the Stinger aerator, it's definitely more of a yellow.
Actually, that's true.
Yellow,
that is true. Now that I'm looking at them side by side.
So
interesting.
It's a little bit different.
Huh. So they classify this as orange. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we got? The light. The LED, don't have the lights on. That's actually a pretty dope LED light. You guys got to look at the barn. He's got the banners hanging. He's got the LED lights. I think like you need like the classic Coca-Cola, glass bottle machine, one of those deals. That's the only thing missing out of here for this to be like a true man cave.
Well, hey, if I drank Coke, I probably would have a Coke LED up there.
There you go. So talk to me about the rights. Do you guys have a good dealer in town, or is it just a process of elimination?
Actually, there is a dealer in town, but I do not go to him. He's kind of a jerk.
Okay, that's fair.
He's kind of arrogant, and now the mechanic that was there, he actually just left. And the other employees are very nice. Mm-hmm. But I go up to Worcester Power Equipment, which is about an hour and 45 minutes away. So
wow.
Shout out to Worcester Power Equipment and Nick Vincent. And he's taking real good care of me.
Awesome.
I just happened to stop by there because my sister lives 3 miles from him, and I just popped in to see what he had going on, and then struck up a deal with some of these right signs. He gave me some of the right signs and gave me some squeals, and then from there I started buying mowers.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. So
that's a good handshake and a good reciprocity.
Yeah. He's fantastic. He's taking care of me. He's taking care of Anders and several other guys here in Delaware County.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you're almost $100,000 deep, Brian. Right. What do you like about him? Not like about him? Some of the guys considering them, maybe where they live, if they got a right dealer nearby.
Yeah, I mean, so we're up north. I think they mow great. I've had Exmark. They're fantastic. I mean, the ZK is, it's a Cadillac. I mean, for a stand-on unit, that's the key that everyone's
it's a solid mower. I mean, we don't have right by us. It's a couple hours away. Solid mower. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I love the right. It cuts well. It's easy to work on.
Kind of like the gold standard or the orange standard.
The
orange standard, whatever. That's so bad. The orange standard for stand-on mowers, though.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are like, I run the Exmark Vertex, and guys are like, oh, it's just a right Standard X painted red with an ultra cut deck. I go, and a Skag V-Ride 2 is a right, Standard X with a Velocity Plus deck. Like, so everybody's just trolling, the Vertex. And I'm like, you do realize, like, Skag did this 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Like, give me a break. But
Wright used to make mowers for John Deere. And
they
so
did.
You look at the John Deere mowers too. So
a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't want to throw that one out of the bus because that's a very litigious issue from back in the day. What's that, man? John Deere took the old patent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, it's crazy to see the technology and where these things have come from the last, 5-6 years, now that everybody's building them, and there's some other brands out there that have some stand-on mowers, and I'm not as big a fan of those as maybe the ones I just riddled off, including the right ones, because you're in between the platform versus maybe hanging off the backside, and it's a totally different experience, because we've been on some that, you're on the back platform, and it's like a boat driving those things around versus being a little hot rod race car with some of these stand-ons. So you have 61s, you have 72s, you got a 36?
2 36s, yeah.
Okay. What's the setup? Or what do you guys do? Big properties, little properties?
All
properties?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got, because this is country, but it's also like, yuppie suburb. Like, so there's, the people that have the nice neighborhoods that have the smaller properties, but then you're right around the corner, you got, 2 acres you got to mow. So,
is that right?
So yeah, it's all on the same street. So that's why the 72 comes in. And that's why I got the right, because I needed a 72 and I didn't want to sit down 72. And a good friend down in Kentucky, Mason Flint, got me the 72 at a killer deal that he had that he was selling. And then from there on, I was sold on right.
Heck yeah, dude.
So
heck yeah, I love it. Well, let's do this really quick. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to hear a little bit more about the business growth the last couple of years. We can talk a little bit more equipment as we round out the whole shop build. If you guys have not seen the YouTube channel, it'll be dropping later tonight. Definitely go check it out. But let's do this really quick. We're going to get a quick sip of water, and we're going to come right on back.
It's just 3 words, but they tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, why there are over 10,000 local steel dealers in communities all across this nation. And why we're putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. 3 words you can kick dirt on, drag through the mud, but you can't cover up. Not everyone can say them, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
A majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
All right, guys. Well, we are back and we are hopping right on into it. And again, thank you so much for the tour sponsors for making this happen. Really quick, during the break, we were just talking really quick. Anders was saying that he's got some rights. A bunch of other guys in the areas now have rights. And who's the gentleman up north?
Nick at Worcester Power Equipment.
So tell me about the customer service and the relationship there, because I have a bunch of guys that are like, hey, I like Exmark, but my local Exmark dealer guy is a jerk or something like that. Or, I like Skag, but, the nearest dealer is an hour away. So it's like all these little nuances. And we always say, like, buy your equipment from the local guy. But you found that the guy half across the state is doing better service and has a better product.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So he did whatever he could to earn the business. I mean, he said, I'll get you the parts. If you need the parts the next day, I'll drive them down if something happens. Or like one time,
it's like unheard of. Like,
yeah, one time he was coming to Columbus to, for whatever reason. And he's like, hey, your mower, I got it tuned up. I'll drop it off.
Wow.
Like I'm coming down anyways with the trailer. Like, here's your mower. Like, and it was like perfect. It worked out.
How does that make you feel as a small business owner? Because I mean, you got some backup machines now, but
yeah.
I'm sure back in the day you only had 1 or 2 or maybe 3.
Yeah, exactly. It feels good like that. He's there to take care of me and just the mowers, and he cares about me, and it's just like it's becoming a friend. And I can talk to him, and just it's great. He's not just a dealer.
As your business grows, his grows.
Yeah,
and it's a good relationship.
Yeah. And he's helped my other friends in the area. There's like 6 of us that have bought probably 12 right mowers, and so, yeah, he's done what he can to really, earn our business.
That's awesome. I'm seriously, congratulations to him, his dealer, and everything that you got going on. And building those relationships with your sales guys and the dealer is super important. I was just talking about that. I did a podcast with Scott Mulcham with the $1 Million Landscape podcast. Have you ever heard of them?
No, I have not.
Super cool dude, super nice guy. We talked equipment for a half hour, and I said, you got to build relationships with your dealer and with the reps specifically, because they're the ones that are getting the inventory. So shout out to him.
Yeah, and he gets the inventory. He's got a whole bunch. So,
dude, that's awesome. Shout out to the whole Wright fam and everything they got going on. So let me do this on the tail end of this podcast. Talk to me about, if you don't mind, like the business growth the last couple of years, because the shop's bigger. You're accumulating more equipment. I would imagine that's because the demand, because the business is growing. You got a half dozen guys, I think you said, working in the summer. So what's going on now?
Yeah, I think the key is having good employees. I've been very blessed to have some good workers, some good employees. Mm-hmm. I have another school teacher that he works for me. He kind of runs the mowing crew, and then I kind of run the landscaping crew. And then, and then I've got some great kids over the years that have either been homeschool kids or actually old students of mine that's I teach at the middle school level.
I was going to say, you probably have like an endless supply of labor.
Yeah. And I'll cherry pick. I'm like, okay, this kid's a good kid. He's got a good character. Like, this is a kid I want to work for me.
Right. How do you slip that? Like you give him your business card, like, hey man, call me like in June,
Yeah, more or less. I'm like, hey, when you're able to drive, you're in high school, look me up. Like, if you want to come do some landscaping, work outside, like, seriously, make $15 an hour, like come work with me.
Give me a shout.
Yeah. And I've had several do that, and it's been great. So
you can't beat that, man. It's too funny. Now, do they get an extra like 2 points on their next test, or how does that work? Like,
well, no, because they're in high school now, and I'm just the middle school art teacher. So
okay.
They're long gone. So
art's kind of subjective anyway.
Yeah, right.
Can you grade bad on art? I mean, this is like a total tangent, but like,
oh yeah,
really? Art is subjective, isn't
it? Well, you get some kids that are pretty lazy sometimes.
Oh, there you go. You ever see like, dude? I'm on Instagram a bunch, so I get like the art stuff sometimes. I swear to God, like my feed is ridiculous. I'll get like mega yachts, I'll get Lambos, I'll get somebody laying stripes, and then it's art. And it's like it's like all this stupid woke art, like it's like some big, white wall and some guys jumping on a trampoline with a paintbrush. Like this is what, and then it's like somebody's gonna buy that for a couple $100. It's all money laundering, obviously, but I didn't say that part out loud. But it's like the stupidest stuff. I saw something the other day. Some guy was breaking. You guys might have saw this one. He was breaking a like a leather bomber jacket that was plastered. So he's breaking it off this bust and putting it on this, model, skinny little like 100-pound, Ethiopian dude. And because that's what a lot of these guys are. They're just skinny like little dudes going down the aisle. And I'm like, what is he doing wearing this like plastered jacket? I was like, how is that art or fashion? And do you grade any of that? What do you think? A plus, D minus?
Yeah. It's like the $400 jeans that just have mud on them, right?
Yeah, dude, for real. Like you go to like all these high end fashion brands, and it's like you said, the yuppies are wearing Carhartt, and it's like, bro, you've never dug a ditch in your life.
I know.
But it's the fashion brand now. And I'm like, that's why I keep bashing Carhartt. People think it's like for the blue collar guy. It is not. It is actually the most woke company. And my sister, wow, it's a whole nother story. But I know a lot of behind the scenes of what that company's going through, and it is literally opposite of everything you would think it is, and it should be, or it should stand for, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I digress. Different side tangent. That's another podcast on Filter for another time. But so business is growing. So more customers, more accounts. What are you guys doing now?
Yeah, with the past 2 years of having been able to just have a good driver, someone that can set free on the yards and go.
Do you have like a right hand guy or a foreman or?
Yeah, he takes care of the mowing, and then that allows me to do the landscaping.
So you're backfilling work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that. Running 2 trucks has been great the past 2 years. That's how I've been able to grow. And then just again, even perfecting more of my route density.
Okay.
Like, this year I'm subbing out another 10 yards to a guy, and I've got my yards even closer now.
Cool.
So
cool.
Just stuff like that, so.
What's some helpful tips as guys are trying to, if you don't mind sharing, like you're in a unique position. There's a lot of like part-time guys, part-time business, full-time career, state trooper, law enforcement, teachers. I get a lot of teachers, a lot of firefighters, a lot of police, LEOs that call for coaching calls, and they're like, hey, how do I do it all? How do I balance it all? And it can be an honest, like, tough challenge. Sometimes I'm like, hey man, you just have to figure it out. Like you're working every day till 3, or like as a teacher, maybe you might get summers off, but then you still have like baseball and PTA and student parent conferencing. Like there's still, a lot of obligations in the evenings. So what have you found works for you to be able to balance all this? Like to me, it seems more, I've said this before, it's more challenging to me working at part-time than it is working at full-time. Like my hat's off to you guys. Like, how do you do it all?
Yeah, I think early on, you start small, and then you didn't have kids. And so you really could learn from your mistakes and grow from there. And then by the time you do have kids, you get more accounts, you're starting to figure things out.
Efficiencies.
Like, what works, what doesn't work, how far am I driving to a property, or my mowing price, to make it worth it, or again, just efficiencies in the shop, efficiencies with my CRM,
no waste of time.
Yeah, training my guys, like not overextending yourself, because like you make your calendar in February for the whole summer.
Mm-hmm. And your routes and all that. Yeah.
And so, okay, on this night I can mow this many yards. On this night I can mow a few more because the route's tighter, or I've got more on the street, So
are you guys like an every 7-day mow, or do you give them like hey, we'll be there between 6 and 9 days, or what do you guys do?
Yeah, 6 to 8 days, and most of them know my schedule. Most of them know I'm a teacher, and they know like in the evenings during the school year, I'm mowing in the evenings, or on a Saturday. But then during the summer, I'm mowing, or the mowing crew is mowing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
And then, I'm mulching 5 days a week in the summer, but then the mowing crew, they come help me out on Monday, Tuesday for the really big properties where we're using the cart mate. It's 30 yards or 25 yards of mulch. And they, then take off and go mow on Wednesday. So it's just stuff like that. Having a second truck. I think also just how you approach your clients, how you approach your family, like you're just open and honest, and you're just intentional.
Yeah. What, let's do this real quick. Let me ask you about, we got about 2 minutes left, and I super appreciate the time, super appreciate you opening up and the shop and filming, taking, a busy day. It's raining out. It's kind of a nasty morning. This is more like a Michigan morning than an Ohio morning. Normally you guys have blue skies and sunny days. But let me ask you really quick 2 maybe wrap up thoughts. One is maybe your thoughts on reinvesting in the business. You got a lot of capital here, and you have a career. Like you could probably pull out more from the company. It seems like you're reinvesting a lot still. So let me ask you your thoughts on reinvesting, and then number two, any thoughts on the barn, in the shop, things you would do over, or maybe do it all over again. Any helpful tips for somebody that's going to be going down that rabbit hole maybe in the next year or two as they grow their company.
Yeah, I mean,
2 heavy ones. There you go.
Yeah,
you got 90 seconds. Go. No,
set goals. Set goals for yourself. Have a mentor or a friend, that you can bounce ideas off with. Your spouse, be on the same page. Talk about your plans. I think about going, full time all the time in the lawn care, but then
I was going to wonder that. I was wondering, you could.
I'm 20 years in, so the diversified income is nice because as I'm getting older, I might, be hurting and not want to be out in the field as much.
Sure.
Which is fine because then I can have the employees out working. But also, you never know what's going to happen with the teaching stuff. Stuff could go south teaching, and just because of they take out the arts or whatever,
consolidate, or
you never know. Our district's growing, so I don't think that'll happen. But I think.
You don't want to be naive to it either.
Yeah. So I think,
do you get a pension, if you don't mind me asking? When it's all said and done.
Yeah. Dave Ramsey, he talks about diversifying your investments. And so I'm kind of diversifying my income. My biggest asset is my wealth building is through my income, through teaching and landscaping. So that's why I keep on reinvesting. My dream is one day, one of my 6 kids might take over the company, and then I can go work for them.
Yeah.
And I'm retired. I'm just go mow or whatever.
You just get back on the mower for $15 an hour.
Exactly.
Dad's tired, or he's got the itch. He wants to just get out there and mow, lay some stripes.
Exactly.
And, you're like the backup guy later.
You never know.
That would come full circle, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That would be nice.
That's good. That's the estate planning there.
So yeah, that's my retirement plan. Pay the house off here in 9 years, and have a few years left in teaching, and then just go mow, man.
I don't blame you. I mean, there's a lot of guys that get out of military and firefighting, 20, 30 years in, whatever their requirement is, and they're honestly 45, 50, 55, pretty young guys if you still, if you look at it, and they got their pension, and they're like, I'm just going to go mow grass on the side. I get 50 from my pension or whatever, 100 from my pension. And they're like, no, I just cut grass on the side. I make, another 100 on the side. I'm like, dude, that's actually not a bad setup. Like, I wish that was presented to me at career day when I was 17, 18 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of amens right now. Like, like that was not an option. It was like, go be a trash, delivery guy. Probably based on my test scores. I probably should have tried harder in art class, but, because I was the guy that would show up and paint the Japanese flag, just a red circle. I'm like, that's art, bro. Like, I've always heard people say it's like the laziest flag that's ever been made, but
Well, you got 3 landscapers here, 3 teachers here, and that's what they all say.
You teach too, Ben?
Yeah.
You teach too? No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh my God, you got the whole posse.
Like, this is how it all happened.
This is
okay. So you're recruiting the whole school. Like, what's that?
Eric's our mentor.
Yeah. Well, sure. But like, did he tell you like, hey man, there's another way? He's like slinging the lawn care crack at the school, like, hey man, like you should cut some grass.
Yeah, I said, come work for me. And then
okay, there you go.
A few years later they did, and then they worked for me for several years, and then I said, why don't you start your own company?
So you're pulling anybody, like the high school kids or the teachers. Like,
exactly.
I need labor.
Yeah.
This mulch doesn't move itself.
That's right. Well, now it does with the cart mate, but
that's
still got to shovel it. Yeah.
That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, that's all I got, man. I appreciate taking time out of the show. We're just laughing and cutting up here. It's a good time. It's kind of a lazy morning here for everybody because it's pouring rain and kind of a nasty day out. But that's all I got, man. Anything else you want to leave them with or anything on your mind? But other than that, man, super appreciate the time.
No, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for those of you that do share and post. That what I've learned from, it's helped me then learn and then share.
Amen.
It's very valuable.
Yeah, no, and dude, you're inspiring me too. Like I'm literally taking notes on this whole setup. I'm like, okay, I need the blade cart thing here. I need my rack over here. I get Anders to build me a workbench. You're free in the summer, right? No, I know. So, but this is, I'm trying to take little nuances here, and this is like a selfish little setup that I'm coming here to learn and to take notes and always learning myself, man. So that's good. Where can people find you, and we'll button it up?
The E-Age group. Sorry, I'm going to cough here.
Oh yeah, he's getting emotional, folks. He's getting emotional. No, I'm just kidding. He's getting all choked up at the end.
Been talking for a long time here.
There you go.
So the EH group at Instagram and Facebook. So
cool.
The EH group is short for my initials, Eric Hughes.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, guys, give him a follow on IG. And I know you respond to DMs all the time. We're always chatting back and forth. That's how we got to know each other from here and Equip Expo, JE back in the day and all that mess. And super appreciate all the support too, man. I know you come to LAL and can't thank you enough for all the stuff that you're doing for the community.
Well, you too.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Amen.
And thank you, Liz, for everything that you do to support Brian.
Dude, she's the real like boss hoss. Like she's the one that lets me go. And without her, and you have 6 kids, man, like if you don't have the home front taken care of.
Yes, my wife is an angel.
Dude, amen. That's why I'm getting her the house and the car and all that mess. Cause like they deserve it, man. Amen to that. That's a good Marriage Monday podcast. But all right, guys. Well, that's what I got for you on this episode. Hang tight and we're going to come right on back.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Well, I just want to say a big thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast with Eric Hughes, the EH Group. It was so much fun getting to hear what these guys are putting together, like I said earlier, down in Delaware County, Ohio. They've got a great operation, a great setup, great attitude, great business, and honestly, just sincerely, really, really good people out that way. Again, thank you so much to the tour sponsors, Steel Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook for putting this whole thing together with us. We got some individual and separate videos that we're going to be doing on YouTube. So outside of the podcast that we did with Eric, check out his full shop tour that we did on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel. Guys, we got a whole series here going on with the shop tour, road tour. We have 8 podcasts and 8 YouTube videos. So if you guys are enjoying seeing how other people are running their companies, I really encourage you to come check out the YouTube video this evening, 3 p.m. Eastern, and then also all the rest of the shop tour so that we have past, present, and future part of the shop tour playlist. Some of those have a couple 100,000 views, and for good reason. It's awesome seeing how people have their business set up. And by the way, quick little tease, next couple of weeks, we've got some larger folks on tour with $1 million and multi-million-dollar shop setups as well. So we're trying to highlight a little bit of everybody all across the Midwest. We're also trying to highlight some of the different shops with smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses, and then large businesses, and how they all run their company, because every setup is different, every region is different, and every business is different. So any which way, guys, want to just say thanks again for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here soon.
Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.